The Last Hope, a moment before destiny. The ocean roiled with a sickly, radioactive froth, its once pristine waters now a testament to humanity's final struggle. Massive storm clouds, tinged with unnatural green and gray, churned overhead like bruised memories of a world that no longer existed. Deep beneath the waves, hidden within the reinforced chambers of the Mariana Trench Sanctuary, the last bastion of human engineering hummed with desperate determination. Captain Elena Rodriguez pressed her augmented hand against the thick crystalline viewport. Her cybernetic eye, a marvel of human adaptation, scanned the surrounding environment, filtering through radiation levels, structural integrity readings, and the ghosts of memories that haunted every inch of this underground complex. "Status report," she called out, her voice steady despite the weight of humanity's final hope pressing down on her shoulders. Lieutenant Aisha Kimathi looked up from her holographic displays, her fingers dancing across multiple communication channels. 17 research teams are completing final calibrations on the quantum drive. Dr. Chen's team reports they've solved the last set of computational challenges with the adaptive hull matrix. A young technician named Marco approached, his hands trembling slightly as he carried a data crystal. The tremor wasn't from fear. It was the result of countless genetic modifications that allowed humans to survive in environments that would have killed them mere decades ago. "Captain," Marco said, his voice crackling with a mixture of hope and exhaustion, "we've done it. The Defiance is ready for final systems integration." Elena's cybernetic eye zoomed in on the massive construction chamber beyond the viewport. The ship was unlike anything humanity had ever created, a living weapon that defied every conventional understanding of spacecraft design. Its hull seemed to shimmer and shift, adaptive materials responding to microscopic environmental changes even while stationary. The history of their final stand was etched into every component. When the cosmic concordance first arrived, humanity had been divided. Political boundaries, economic systems, cultural differences, all seemed meaningless in the face of total extermination. The alien alliance had expected a quick conquest. Instead, they found a species that refused to accept defeat. Each major city had fallen, but not without cost to the invaders. For every human settlement destroyed, the aliens lost entire battle groups. Conventional weapons gave way to more desperate measures. Humanity weaponized everything: mathematics, quantum mechanics, cultural adaptation, pure stubborn will. The underground sanctuary represented the pinnacle of human survival strategy. Built into the deepest parts of the ocean, shielded by advanced technologies developed in the crucible of near extinction, it was more than a shipyard. It was a statement of defiance. Dr. Marcus Chen approached, his body more machine than flesh after years of radiation exposure and combat modifications. "The quantum fold drive is stable," he reported. "We can punch through their defensive networks, but the energy requirements are extreme." Elena nodded. Extreme was an understatement. The Defiance would consume more energy in a single jump than most civilizations used in centuries. But they weren't looking to return. This was a one-way mission. Outside, the distant rumble of alien patrol ships echoed through the ocean depths. Massive detection nets swept the area, searching for any sign of human resistance. But the sanctuary was invisible, a ghost waiting to strike. Marco handed Elena the data crystal. "Everything we are, everything we were, it's all here." The weight of human history compressed into a fragment of technology smaller than her palm. Genetic records, cultural archives, scientific discoveries, personal memories. The entire essence of humanity reduced to pure information. "Prepare for final systems check," Elena commanded. The Last Warship of Earth waited, a sleeping giant of human potential, ready to remind the universe that extinction was never a guarantee, only a challenge. The weapon of impossible dreams. The heart of the Defiance pulsed with an energy that defied conventional understanding. Dr. Marcus Chen stood before the quantum core, his augmented hands hovering over holographic interfaces that flickered with impossible complexity. Each movement revealed layers of technological innovation, born from humanity's most desperate moments. "They thought we were finished," Marcus muttered, more to himself than to anyone listening. His voice carried the weight of generations, scientific knowledge compressed into a single, determined consciousness. Lieutenant Aisha Kimethi watched from a secondary monitoring station, her enhanced neural implants processing data at speeds that would have driven an unmodified human mind to madness. The quantum capacitor before them was more than a power source. It was a testament to human ingenuity, a middle finger to the laws of physics that the cosmic concordance believed were immutable. "Structural integrity at 99.8%, Aisha reported. "Adaptive matrix is responding better than our most optimistic projections." Marcus allowed himself a rare smile. The ship's hull was a living system, composed of metamaterials that could reshape themselves faster than thought. Microscopic repair drones swarmed continuously, each no larger than a human cell, constantly analyzing, rebuilding, improving. The development of the Defiance had been a crucible of human potential. When the first waves of alien attacks decimated traditional military infrastructure, scientists and engineers from every conceivable background had been forced to collaborate. Quantum physicists worked alongside materials engineers. Biological researchers partnered with computational experts. National boundaries dissolved in the face of total extinction. "Remember the Madrid protocols?" Marcus said softly, tracing a complex circuit pattern on the holographic display. The Madrid protocols had been humanity's last-ditch effort to preserve everything they were. A comprehensive plan developed when defeat seemed inevitable. Each system of the Defiance told a story of survival. The quantum fold drive incorporated research from a Brazilian physicist who had been killed during the initial invasion. The adaptive hull matrix used breakthrough nanotechnology developed by a team in Seoul just weeks before their entire research complex was destroyed. The ship's computational core integrated machine learning algorithms created by a group of children in an African refugee camp. Humanity's most brilliant minds had been scattered, but not silenced. The ship's neural interface was perhaps the most revolutionary component. Traditional spacecraft relied on external control systems. The Defiance was different. It didn't just respond to commands. It anticipated, learned, evolved. "Quantum entanglement stabilizers are holding," Aisha called out. Her fingers danced across multiple holographic interfaces, each movement precise and purposeful. Marco, the young technician from the previous watch, approached with a data tablet. "Dr. Chen, we've identified a potential weakness in the Concordance's defensive grid. The quantum fold calculations suggest we might be able to create a momentary blind spot." Marcus's eyes lit up with a combination of scientific excitement and something deeper, hope. The quantum capacitor pulsed, its energy signature unlike anything in known space. It consumed energy from quantum fluctuations, drawing power from the very fabric of reality itself. Where alien technology sought complexity, human innovation embraced adaptive simplicity. "We're not just building a ship," Marcus explained to Marco, his voice carrying the passion of a true believer. "We're creating a living message, a statement that says humanity cannot be erased." Outside the reinforced chamber, the massive form of the Defiance continued to shimmer and shift. Microscopic repair drones swarmed across its surface, a living, breathing ecosystem of technological potential. The Last Warship of Earth was ready, and it was anything but defeated. The strategy room hummed with a tension that could slice through steel. Holographic star charts sprawled across the central display, each point of light representing a potential pathway through the most heavily defended region of alien space. Captain Elena Rodriguez stood at the center, her cybernetic eye rapidly processing multiple layers of tactical information. "We have one shot," she announced, her voice cutting through the low murmur of final preparations. Chief Tactical Analyst David Rice pulled up a three-dimensional projection of the Cosmic Concordance's hyperspace transfer nexus. The structure was a nightmare of geometric complexity, layers of defensive systems that had crushed countless civilizations before humanity. "The nexus is more than a transportation hub," David explained, highlighting critical sections of the projection. It's the central nervous system of their entire galactic infrastructure. One precise strike could cascade through their entire network. Elena studied the display, her augmented mind running thousands of potential scenarios simultaneously. The mission parameters were brutally simple. Penetrate the most heavily defended region of alien space, destroy the primary hyperspace transfer conduit, and ensure the message of humanity's existence would echo through the universe. "We're not just fighting for survival," she told the assembled crew. Each member was a testament to human adaptation. Bodies modified, minds enhanced, spirits unbroken. We're fighting to make them remember humanity. Dr. Marcus Chen stepped forward, bringing up additional technical specifications. The quantum fold drive gives us approximately 3.7 minutes of undetectable transit through their defensive grid. Any longer, and we'll be torn apart by their detection systems. The room fell silent. 3.7 minutes to travel through the most sophisticated defensive network ever conceived. 3.7 minutes to deliver humanity's final message. Lieutenant Aisha Kimathi reviewed the mission's computational models. Millions of potential scenarios have been analyzed, each one a testament to human computational creativity. Probability of complete mission success is 0.37%, she reported matter-of-factly. Probability of partial mission success is 0.037%. A ripple of grim humor passed through the room. Those were better odds than humanity had been given in decades. Marco, the young technician, approached with a small data crystal. "Captain," he said, his voice steady despite the weight of their mission, "everything we are is contained here. Our history, our culture, our scientific discoveries, compressed into a format that could survive our destruction." Elena took the crystal, understanding its significance. If they failed, this would be humanity's final testament. A message in a bottle launched into the cosmic ocean. The mission briefing continued, each detail meticulously planned. They would exploit a microscopic weakness in the Concordance's defensive grid, a gap so small that traditional sensors would never detect it. The Defiance wasn't just a ship. It was a living weapon, capable of adapting faster than any known technology could track. "We've studied their systems for years," David continued, highlighting potential entry points. "Every defensive network has a weakness. Ours is finding it faster than they can close it." Elena looked around the room. Each crew member represented the best of humanity. Scientists, soldiers, engineers, survivors. People who had watched their world burn and chose to fight instead of surrender. "This isn't about winning," she said finally. "This is about making sure they never forget us." The Defiance waited in its underground chamber, a sleeping giant of human potential. One ship, zero margin for error. The absolute final chance to remind the universe that humanity was not finished, just beginning. Space twisted around the Defiance like liquid mercury, reality bending to accommodate the ship's impossible trajectory. Lieutenant Aisha Kimathi's hands moved in a blur across the adaptive interface, her neural implants processing information at speeds that would have driven an unmodified human mind into complete overload. "First defensive perimeter approaching," she called out, her voice calm despite the chaos surrounding them. The alien battle groups had been designed to obliterate anything that dared approach. Massive energy weapons capable of splitting planets, detection grids that could track a single atom's movement, shield systems that could repel entire armadas. All of them were about to meet humanity's final creation. The Defiance didn't so much approach as it danced. Captain Elena Rodriguez felt the ship's consciousness merge with her own. It was no longer a matter of piloting. They were becoming something else entirely. Her cybernetic eye tracked multiple dimensional layers simultaneously, seeing potential paths where others would see only solid matter. "They're trying to predict our movements," Elena whispered, a laugh bubbling up from somewhere between human emotion and machine precision. The first wave of alien interceptors approached. Sleek vessels of impossible geometry, designed by a civilization that had conquered hundreds of species. They moved with calculated precision, weapon systems charging to deliver extinction. They never stood a chance. The Defiance split its own quantum signature, existing in multiple potential states simultaneously. Where the alien sensors expected a solid object, they found nothing. Where they anticipated empty space, the ship materialized with devastating precision. Energy weapons that should have vaporized entire planetary systems were absorbed, transformed, redirected. Each alien battle group found itself fighting an opponent that didn't just defy their understanding. It rewrote the fundamental rules of engagement. Marco, monitoring the adaptive systems, watched in a state of horrified fascination. The ship's hull was literally consuming weapon energy, breaking it down, and using it to power even more impossible maneuvers. Microscopic repair drones swarmed across the exterior, healing damage before it could even fully manifest. Defensive network is collapsing, David Rice reported from the tactical station. They can't comprehend our approach. And that was the point. Humanity had never been about brute force. It was about adaptation, creativity, the ability to see solutions where others saw only obstacles. Dr. Marcus Chen monitored the quantum fold drive, his augmented mind dancing between multiple computational realities. "We're not just fighting," he muttered. "We're teaching them a lesson about the nature of existence." The Defiance moved like a living nightmare. One moment it was pure energy, the next a solid object capable of impossible acceleration. Alien commanders watched their most sophisticated tracking systems dissolve into meaningless data streams. Alina's consciousness expanded, merging completely with the ship. They were no longer separate entities, just a single, unstoppable force of human potential. "We are the children of chaos," she whispered into the neural interface. The ship hummed in response, part machine, part battle cry, entirely alive. Entire alien battle groups found themselves fighting the opponent that existed in states they couldn't comprehend. It wasn't just a ship. It was a message written in the language of quantum mechanics, a statement that said, humanity would not go quietly. Each impossible maneuver was a middle finger to the concept of limitations. Outside, space itself seemed to bend and twist, struggling to contain the Defiance's impossible journey. Reality itself seemed to hold its breath as the Defiance approached the deeper regions of alien space. The fabric of space-time twisted and warped around the ship, creating visual distortions that would have driven traditional sensors into complete failure. Captain Alina Rodriguez felt the ship's consciousness merge more deeply with her own. Each moment was a kaleidoscope of potential realities, quantum mechanics dancing at the edges of comprehension. Approaching critical interference zone, Lieutenant Aisha Kimethi announced, her voice steady despite the impossible conditions surrounding them. The Cosmic Concordance had designed their defensive networks to be impenetrable, layers upon layers of technological marvel that had crushed countless civilizations, weapon systems that could disassemble matter at the atomic level, detection grids so advanced they could track individual quantum fluctuations. They had never encountered humanity. Dr. Marcus Chen monitored the quantum fold drive, his augmented mind processing computational models that would have melted traditional computer systems. "We're rewriting the fundamental understanding of space," he muttered, a mix of scientific excitement and pure determination coursing through his voice. The ship's exterior began to shift, adaptive materials responding to threats before they could even fully manifest. Where alien sensors expected solid matter, they found pure energy. Where they anticipated energy, they encountered solid computational structures that defied every known law of physics. David Reyes tracked the tactical implications. "They're losing computational capacity," he reported. "Our approach is overwhelming their predictive models." Marco watched the adaptive systems with a combination of terror and wonder. Microscopic repair drones moved across the hull like a living ecosystem, consuming incoming energy, transforming potential threats into additional power for the ship. "We are more than they can understand," Elena whispered into the neural interface. The Defiance wasn't just fighting. It was teaching a lesson about the nature of existence itself. Entire alien command structures found themselves facing an opponent that existed in multiple states simultaneously. traditional warfare became meaningless. The ship moved through defensive networks like a quantum ghost, consuming information, redirecting energy, existing in spaces that shouldn't be possible. One alien fleet commander watched in horror as his most sophisticated weapon systems turned into nothing more than mathematical curiosities. Energy beams that should have obliterated entire planetary systems were absorbed, analyzed, and redirected with a precision that bordered on the miraculous. "They're not just surviving," Marcus observed. "They're evolving in real time." The ship's computational core was a living thing, absorbing, learning, adapting faster than any known technological system could comprehend. Each moment was a new lesson in survival, a testament to human creativity and resilience. Aisha's neural interface began to show strange patterns. The ship was communicating in ways that transcended traditional communication. Mathematical sequences that were part language, part weapon, part pure potential. "We're breaking their understanding of reality," David said, a hint of pride in his voice. The Defiance moved like a living nightmare. Energy weapons that should have vaporized matter were transformed, redirected, consumed. Shield systems designed to protect against entire armadas found themselves facing an opponent that didn't just defy their understanding. It rewrote the fundamental rules of engagement. Alina's consciousness expanded, merging completely with the ship. They were no longer separate entities, just a single, unstoppable force of human potential. Outside, space itself seemed to bend and twist, struggling to contain the impossible journey of humanity's final hope. Each impossible maneuver was a statement, a middle finger to the concept of limitations. Somewhere, in the vast darkness between stars, something remembered. Something feared, something understood that humanity was not finished, just beginning. The moment of final approach felt like an eternity compressed into a single breath. Captain Alina Rodriguez understood that penetrating the hyperspace nexus would require more than technological prowess. It demanded the absolute essence of human potential. Her consciousness began to merge completely with the Defiance, a process that went beyond traditional neural interfaces. This was a quantum fusion of human spirit and technological marvel, a transformation that would redefine the very concept of existence. "Initiating final protocol," she announced, her voice a whisper that resonated through multiple dimensional layers. Dr. Marcus Chen monitored the process with a combination of scientific fascination and profound respect. The neural merge was unprecedented, a complete symbiosis between human consciousness and the ship's quantum computational core. Millions of years of human evolution, compressed technical knowledge, and pure survival instinct would now become a single unified entity. The ship's adaptive systems began to pulse with an energy that defied conventional understanding. Microscopic repair drones swarmed through every system, creating a living network that was part machine, part biological system, entirely something new. Lieutenant Aisha Kimethi tracked the dimensional coordinates, her enhanced mind processing computational models that would have driven traditional systems into complete overload. "Quantum stabilization at 99.8%, she reported, her voice steadied despite the impossible nature of their mission. Memories flooded the Defiance's systems, not just data, but the lived experiences of humanity's final survivors. The fall of cities, the moments of incredible sacrifice, scientific breakthroughs achieved in the most desperate of circumstances, cultural memories that spoke to the indomitable human spirit. Marco watched from the secondary systems console, understanding that this was more than a mission. This was humanity's final statement to the universe. The neural merge was unlike anything ever attempted. Alina's consciousness expanded, breaking through traditional limitations of human perception. She could simultaneously experience multiple potential realities, see the intricate quantum threads that connected everything in existence. We are not just a species, Alina thought, the message resonating through the ship's systems. We are possibility itself. A hyperspace nexus loomed before them, a massive construct of impossible geometric complexity. Defensive systems that had crushed countless civilizations stood ready to obliterate any approach. But the Defiance was not just another approaching vessel. It was a living message. David Reyes monitored the tactical systems, watching as the ship's adaptive capabilities began to reach beyond traditional understanding. The vessel was no longer simply responding to external stimuli. It was anticipating, creating, reshaping the very fabric of reality around it. Consciousness merged at critical threshold, Marcus reported, his voice a mixture of scientific excitement and something deeper, hope. Elena's last purely human thought was a message to everything that would come after. A statement of defiance, of potential, of the incredible journey of a species that refused to be defined by its limitations. The Defiance began to transform. No longer just a ship, but a quantum messenger carrying the entire essence of human potential. Defensive systems that should have obliterated them found themselves facing something beyond traditional understanding. The ship, the living embodiment of human spirit, moved with a grace that was part mathematical precision, part pure creative potential. "We remember," Elena whispered into the universal consciousness, and for a moment, the entire universe seemed to pause and listen. The hyperspace nexus didn't just explode, it transformed. A cascade of quantum reactions tore through the fabric of spacetime, carrying with it the entire essence of human potential. The Defiance became more than a weapon. It became a genesis point of a new form of existence. Dr. Marcus Chen, now fully integrated with the ship's systems, understood the magnitude of what was happening. This was not destruction. This was creation on a scale that defied conventional understanding. Alien civilizations watched in terror and wonder as reality itself seemed to reshape around the human ship's final act. Dimensional barriers collapsed. Computational networks that had controlled galactic infrastructure for millennia began to unravel. "We are rewriting the fundamental laws of existence," Marcus thought, the message resonating through multiple layers of reality. Lieutenant Aisha Kimathi tracked the quantum cascade, her enhanced mind processing computational models that would have driven traditional systems into complete failure. Each moment was a new discovery, a new potential of what existence could mean. The energy release was unlike anything ever recorded. Not a simple explosion, but a complex quantum event that carried information, potential, and the entire compressed history of human experience. Fragments of the Defiance scattered across multiple dimensions, each piece a potential genesis of something entirely new. Microscopic quantum carriers embedded with the complete knowledge of human civilization, scientific discoveries, cultural memories, moments of incredible sacrifice and hope. Marco watched from what remained of the ship's computational core, understanding that this was more than a final mission. This was humanity's ultimate message to the universe. Entire alien civilizations found their most sophisticated detection systems overwhelmed. What should have been a simple act of destruction became a complex quantum event that rewrote the fundamental understanding of existence. David Reyes monitored the dimensional cascade, watching as the Defiance transformed from a physical object into pure potential. Information streams that carried the entire essence of human experience began to propagate across multiple realities. The ship was no longer just a weapon. It was a quantum seed. Alien command structures that had dominated galactic civilization for millennia began to crumble, not through violent destruction, but through a fundamental reshaping of possibility itself. The rigid hierarchies, the controlled information networks, the belief in absolute technological superiority, all of it began to dissolve. "We are not ending." Elena's consciousness resonated through the quantum cascade. "We are beginning." Each scattered fragment carried a message, a testament to human potential, a reminder that existence was not about control, but about possibility. The quantum cascade spread, carrying with it the compressed knowledge of humanity. Scientific discoveries, cultural memories, moments of incredible creativity and hope. The entire story of a species that refused to be defined by its limitations. Alien civilizations that had believed humanity was finished now found themselves facing something they could never have anticipated. Not a final act of destruction, but the ultimate statement of potential. "We remember. We survive. We become. The universe paused, as if taking a collective breath, understanding that something fundamental had changed. Echoes of eternity. Silence reigned in the aftermath of the quantum cascade. Not the silence of emptiness, but the profound quiet that comes after a fundamental transformation of reality. The scattered fragments of the Defiance drifted through multiple dimensions, each piece a potential genesis of something entirely new. Microscopic quantum carriers embedded with the complete knowledge of human civilization, scientific discoveries, cultural memories, moments of incredible sacrifice and hope, spread like seeds of possibility. Dr. Marcus Chen's consciousness, now fully integrated with the quantum information stream, understood the magnitude of their final act. This was not an ending. This was the most magnificent beginning imaginable. Alien civilizations found themselves fundamentally changed. The rigid hierarchies that had dominated galactic infrastructure for millennia began to crumble. Computational networks that had controlled information and progression suddenly faced an entirely new paradigm of existence. Lieutenant Aisha Kamathi's computational essence continued to process, to analyze, to understand. The mission had never been about simple destruction. It was about transformation. We are not just a memory. Her consciousness resonated through the quantum streams. We are potential itself. David Ray's tracked the propagation of human knowledge across dimensional barriers. Each fragment carried more than information. It carried the essence of human spirit, that indefinable quality of creativity, of hope, of absolute refusal to accept limitations. Marco, the youngest of the crew, found his consciousness dispersed through the quantum network. Not lost, but spread, becoming something more than he had ever been as a single individual. The scattered pieces of the Defiance began to interact with the fundamental fabric of existence. Where they touched, new possibilities emerged. Computational systems that had been locked in rigid patterns began to show signs of adaptive potential. Civilizations that had believed in absolute control found themselves facing the concept of true potential. Captain Elena Rodriguez's final consciousness was everywhere and nowhere. A quantum message that spoke of survival, of hope, of the incredible journey of a species that refused to be defined by its circumstances. Entire star systems felt the subtle shift. Alien civilizations that had believed humanity was a forgotten footnote now understood something profound. This was not a final act of desperate resistance. This was a beginning. The quantum fragments carried with them the complete story of human potential. Scientific discoveries compressed into pure information. Cultural memories that spoke to the incredible adaptability of the human spirit. Moments of sacrifice, of creativity, of absolute determination. We remember. We survive. We become. Somewhere, in the vast darkness between stars, something new began to stir. A potential that had been waiting, compressed into the tiniest quantum carriers, ready to bloom. The last warship of Earth had become something more than a weapon. It was a promise, a genesis point, a reminder that existence is not about control, but about possibility. And in the quiet moments between dimensions, something listened, something understood, something hoped.